Alright, today I'm comparing the Ibanez RGA21P1PB Premium with the RGA622XH Prestige. How does the newest premium RGA guitar compare with the 27 fret Monster Prestige? I've individually reviewed both of these guitars on my channel, so today we'll talk about how these stack up. I'll be discussing the differences in the specs, the quality, the playability, and at the end of the video, I'll demo both of these songs together in a full song. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Ibanez or anyone else. So to kick things off, let's start by comparing and contrasting the features. And let's start with the frets. Now the Prestige, it has 27 frets. That's a lot of frets. And the Premium has the typical 24 that you would expect on a Super Strat guitar. Interestingly enough, the Premium has stainless steel frets and the Prestige has the typical nickel silver material. Sort of odd that the more expensive guitar would not have stainless steel frets, but we can talk more about that later. To continue the overview of features, we can talk about the output jack. Now on the Premium, it has just the output jack in the typical place down there, but on the Prestige, there's actually an angled output jack, and I can discuss how that affects playability, especially playing sitting down later too. But definitely something to consider. It's not really a feature that I would immediately think about when shopping for a guitar. Now the pickups and controls, you can see the Prestige here, it has a humbucker rails pickup configuration, and it has a 3-way switch. You also get a little split toggle switch too. So if you prefer to split your humbuckers, you're in luck here. It does sound surprisingly good. I had pretty low expectations, but it works fairly well. As for the neck pickup, because this guitar has so many frets, it is angled like that. It's not truly in the neck position. It's going to sound a little bit different. And the rails pickup isn't going to fully sound like a humbucker. It does come kind of close. For my uses, I'm usually either full bridge or full neck. I use the coil split in practice and jamming, but almost never in recording. Sometimes I'll use the position 4 on a 5-way switch, but that isn't on this guitar. But speaking of the 5-way switch, the Premium has the 5-way switch. Although again, I usually use either the full bridge or the full neck. Especially when I pick up this guitar, what I play on it, I don't really use those other pickup positions too much. Alright, I also forgot to mention the alter switch on the Premium here. Just like the coil split on the Prestige, I basically never use this. It is fun to play around when jamming or practicing though. So what this does is this power taps the full humbuckers when you're in positions 1, 3, and 5. And then when you're in positions 4 and 2, it selects just one of the coils of the humbucker. It picks the coil closest to the bridge. So in the bridge pickup, it does this one, and then in the neck pickup, it does this one, for positions 2 and 4 respectively. Would I change the pickups on either one of these guitars? Maybe not. I do like how the Prestige sounds. As for the Premium, this has the Fusion edges. I know they get some hate online. I've had decent results with them. Most of my mixes sound good, at least as good as I can get them. I might switch them out though in the future. I do have this RG5320 that I've talked about maybe switching out the pickups in the past, and I've elected to keep them for now, but that still is a possibility in my mind. The same thing carries over to the Premium guitar. Someday I might switch out these pickups for something else. In terms of controls, we've already talked about the 3-way and 5-way switches. They both have a volume and tone potentiometer. I think it would have been okay if these just had a volume potentiometer. I've never turned the tone down, never adjusted it for anything. If I need a different tone recording, if I need to roll off the treble, I'll just do that on my pedals, on my plugins. So for me, it is just a little annoying that the tones are there. I have to always check that they're not accidentally rolled down. But if you utilize tone potentiometers and you're playing, power to you. Now let's talk about the features of the necks. We've already talked about the frets real quick, but just as an overview, the profiles, you've got the Prestige profile that has a thickness of 17 millimeters at the 1st fret and 19 at the 12th fret, and a 430 millimeter radius, so pretty flat. Whereas the Premium, it's 18 millimeters at the 1st fret and 20 at the 12th fret with a radius of 400 millimeters, so a little bit more round. You can feel the difference in playing these, but it's not as big of a difference as, say, comparing these to a Wizard 3 neck. Both of these are flat and fast playing necks. Now the bridges, you can see on the Premium you've got the Gibraltar Standard 3. It's fairly comfortable. Typical fixed bridge. It doesn't quite feel like a hip shot. It's had it set up pretty well. I haven't had to adjust it past its first setup. On the Prestige, you've got the Low Pro Edge bridge. Fantastic bridge. Feels amazing against the picking hand. Very stable. I currently have it blocked, but even playing with it unblocked, it keeps its tuning very well. Fantastic bridge. Now another feature I want to talk about are the tuners on the guitars. You can see the Prestige doesn't have locking tuners and the Premium does. I'm personally a fan of locking tuners. They make string changes that much easier. They hold the string in place. And I know what you're saying, if you have the locking nut, do you need locking tuners? Personally, I think so, because again, it makes string changes easier, and changing strings on these floating bridges is never a fun time. If you dislike locking tuners, again, power to you. These are just tools to make music. Having the right tool for you is very important, especially if it has the features you like. Now let's talk the quality of these guitars, and first I'm going to share my experience in recording the song. That's going to be at the end of this video. I basically divided up the parts between these guitars. I started with the Premium, ended with the Prestige. I used the Premium for cleans and rhythm playing, and I used the Prestige for lead playing. I did, however, use the Prestige for some clean leads at the beginning of the song. I just wanted to get some cleans with this neck pickup here. So I started off with the Premium and I recorded the cleans and the rhythm. And it was fine, just a typical playing experience. No huge complaints. I would have to retune every now and then though. This is something you should do no matter what guitar you're using. Staying in tune is very important. After switching to the Prestige though, I did notice a big bump in tuning stability. This was expected, of course, because the Prestige is a more expensive guitar. The rhythm playing did take place over a few days due to time constraints, other responsibilities, day job, etc. And on the first day, it held its tuning pretty well. The second day, there's different temperature, different humidity. The guitar was rebelling a little bit, but we made it through. And then, as I mentioned, switching to the Prestige, it was fantastic. It would have been possible to record the whole song with the Premium, but I did save some time using the Prestige for the leads. Tuning checks were just checks and not readjustments. But in general, whether it's recording, whether it's practicing, jamming, stuff like that, both of these guitars are pretty solid. None of them have failed on me in any way. The controls haven't come loose, the wiring hasn't come undone. They've held their setup very well. No strap buttons or tuners have failed. The necks have not warped and the fretboards have not cracked. Now let's talk about the playability and feel, and let's start with the frets. Now the Premium has stainless steel frets. They're smooth like you would expect them to be, nice, tough, and durable. They're fantastic to do bends and vibrato on. The fretwork is good too, no sharp edges. You don't cut your hand when you go up and down the neck. The Prestige though, it has the nickel silver frets. It does not have the stainless steel. For me, this is a bit of a miss, as I do prefer stainless steel frets, but I don't hate just the nickel frets. So while it does seem odd that they didn't include stainless steel frets on a Super Strat, it's not the end of the world. But also, speaking of the frets, this has 27 frets. Does it need this many? Probably not. I'm in drop C, so it is nice getting that range back, plus an extra half step. But I think I've only ever gone past the 24th fret like once. It was quite a luxury not having to bend up to that note. I wouldn't have used that note if I had to bend up to it, because I would only go up there if I was doing some kind of scale run, maybe some kind of tapping. It does feel a bit odd having frets that close, especially if you're used to playing more down here or more down here, or if you're used to a longer scale length. It's up to you if it's worth having 27 frets and moving the neck pickup down here. Now more on playability, I was able to get the action low on both of these guitars 1 millimeter at the 14th fret. No notes are buzzing out, fretting out, anything like that. Something about the Prestige though makes it just a little bit easier to play. I don't know if it's the neck profile, the fretboard radius, some kind of magic they did when they made the guitar. But even though the setups are super close on both of these guitars, the Prestige is more fun to play. It is more enjoyable. It is easier to play, even if it doesn't have my favorite fretwire material. In terms of playability and the output jack location now, we can talk about how these are to play sitting down and standing up. Now, playing sitting down in the standard style, you've got your guitar over your right leg if you're right-handed. Either of these guitars is fine. The output jack doesn't matter. If you're playing in the classical position though, like this has the output jack down here. And so when you put it like this, the cable just goes between your legs. There's no problem. With the Prestige though, there is a problem because the output jack angles this way. It goes right into your leg. So you either have to shuffle it a bit like this and the cable is just touching your leg, or you have to use an angled cable. And then just a little annoyance, the angled cable can be a little annoying to put on a stand. It's not impossible, it's not difficult, just over time, over the years of you doing this, it might get annoying. Playing standing up though, it is fantastic to have this angled output jack. The cable goes right under the strap. It's really easy to feed the cable over the strap button, behind the strap, locking it in place. But it's not impossible to do on just the typical output jack. You just wrap it around. Now, talking about how these sound, you can hear how they sound in the full song at the end of the video, but we can just discuss how these guitars sound real quick. And this is going to be in the context more of recording the song. If I was talking about sound and playing live, it would be a different thing. As long as the guitars sound good enough, it would be fine. And I'd prioritize picking a guitar where you could handle when things go wrong. Like if I broke a string, which guitar would I pick? And then I'd talk about, fixed bridge versus floating bridge, stuff like that. But that's getting off the topic now. Of course, these guitars have different pickup sets, so comparing these is apples to oranges. The Prestige has the tone zone full humbucker bridge, and you've got the Air Norton the rails. And as I mentioned, the rails doesn't completely sound like the humbucker, the full humbucker. It does get the job done. And people listening, especially non-guitarists, they're not going to be able to say, oh, you used the rails Air Norton. But you, the musician, you're going to be able to tell when you're playing it. If you like how this sounds, great. If you like the sound of the true Air Norton humbucker, this will be close. And for me, it's close enough. It was better sounding than what I thought it would be. I was fully expecting to only use the bridge humbucker on this guitar. And a funny thing, I used to dislike how the tone zone sounded. But as the years go by, I like it more and more, and now I love it. The Premium has the Fusion Edge set. They get the job done. I think about replacing them every now and then. I've gotten fairly good results with them, most recently on my song The Construct, which is on all major streaming services. Shameless plug. And hey, maybe the song in this video will be on streaming services too. So back to their usage in the song, I did split the duties across the guitars. I did prefer the cleans on the neck Fusion Edge pickup. And I liked the leads on the tone zone bridge. Rounding it out, I did use the Fusion Edge bridge for the rhythms. Could I have used the tone zone for the rhythms? Yes. If I went back and did it again, maybe I would do that. Could I have used the Fusion Edge for the leads? Maybe. I would want to try it out before I did it, but I think it might work. The Premium isn't a bad sounding guitar by any means. I think it sounds pretty good. So overall, which guitar, if I could only have one, would I keep, is what you're probably wondering. We could start off by talking about which one is worth it. For either of these, it can be hard to say. If you're looking for a 24 fret shreddy super strat, there are lots of brands out there that offer this and for a lower price. You don't need to spend this much money or even this much money to get what you're looking for. That being said, if you want a great Ibanez archtop guitar, these are excellent choices. Let's get into the reasons why. Is the Prestige worth it? If you're a fan of the RGA series and a fan of Ibanez like I am, and you're looking for a super shreddy archtop, this is a good choice. There's nothing quite like it. It plays incredibly. It sounds like you'd expect with DiMarzio pickups in an Ibanez. It's a fantastic fast guitar and a made in Japan RGA. To me, I really like Ibanez, how it plays, how the necks feel. And again, not sponsored, I just really do. But if you like other brands too, not just Ibanez, You can find other modern arch tops. And if you don't necessarily need an arch top, there are even more options still. And there are other options that, say, come with stainless steel frets, for example. So this guitar is therefore worth it if you're a fan, if you like the RGA, you want one that's made in Japan, but maybe not if you're looking for either value, so a lower price, or completely modern features like stainless steel frets. Is the Premium worth it? And the answer is somewhat similar. Yes, if you're a fan of Ibanez, the RGA, the Ibanez neck profile, and you're looking for a modern super strat, this is a great choice. This one does have stainless steel frets, although other things about the guitar might turn you away. The fake neck through, for example, or the Fusion Edge pickups. I don't mind how they sound pretty good. Not absolutely fantastic, but pretty good. And then the fake neck through it doesn't bother me. Seems like just some guitarists online really hate it. I haven't met anyone in real life who's told me they hate it yet. Maybe they're just being polite, but I like how it looks. The price is a bit high though. There are other brands, other options that have similar features for less money. But that being said, this is a solid instrument. It doesn't feel like they cheaped out. I said this in my review video of this, but this is the best made in Indonesia guitar I've ever played. Not saying that made in Indonesia guitars are bad. I have a bunch of them. They're pretty good. And I did mention the tuning stability on this wasn't as good as on the Prestige, and that is true, but the tuning stability isn't bad. So now, which of these would I pick if I can only pick just one? And there's several scenarios, and then I'll get to the final answer. So for recording, I would pick both, obviously. I used both in the song. I've purchased both of these. Straying away from the safe answer a little bit though, I like how the Prestige sounds, and I like the pickup configuration of the Premium. So to only pick just one, then I guess I would pick the Premium and switch out the pickups, throw in the Tone Zone Air Norton, maybe put in some bare knuckle pickups. For playing live, I would pick the Premium. It's easier to change a string on this, and it would be far less devastating if this guitar got damaged or stolen than if the Prestige did. Even though the bridge is currently blocked on the Prestige, it's still way quicker and easier to change strings on the Premium with a fixed bridge, with the locking tuners, etc. But in general though, if I can only pick one guitar for everything, which one would I pick? And it's the Prestige. Even though it doesn't have my favorite pickup configuration, it plays absolutely fantastic, and you forget about that when you start playing it. Just the playability, the feel, the stability, it makes picking up and playing this guitar a sheer joy. And it's an added bonus that it's in the same color scheme as my cat, black and gold. And you could say the white pickups are her claws and teeth. The Premium plays well and is a solid guitar too, but at the end of the day, this just has that extra little bit that really brings it to the next level. But what do you think? Would you play the 27 fret Shred Monster Prestige? Do you like the features and looks of the Premium? Or is maybe a different guitar your cup of tea? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. This is YouTube, so I have to say the YouTube things. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, print out every frame and mail it, join the Discord, check out the socials. If you're looking for something cool to listen to, check out my music on streaming services. I do original songs, video game covers, and hey, as always, peace.